Jeff, thanks for your response. I know I'm posting my video to your response to a conference report to Fred, but I'm glad that I watched this video first before I responded to your other video because um, your video responds to me where you criticize me for being a little anthropocentric and a bit um, I don't know. I guess it's a rather optimistic view of human beings to say that the whole point of the universe is to become a human being. And I didn't exactly say that. I also, you know, in uh, in my opinion, that there are other intelligent humanoid forms of life. And when I say humanoid, what does that mean? I mean, it seems that matter in our universe, in order to become more sensitive, must develop its nervous system, and that when the nervous system begins to develop itself, it tends to cerebralize. Uh, look at the way the human organism has organized itself through billions of years of evolution. And, certainly most of our evolution has taken place. The significant evolution of our species has taken place in the last 5 to 3 million years. We started to walk upright. We got these really prehensile uh, hands, and we lost all our fur, and our faces became the seat of the most sensitive sensory organs ever. Uh, at least not in terms of uh, sensation of the external world. I mean, certainly there are plenty of other animals with a better sense of smell, a better sense of hand-eye coordination, even. Um, but somehow the inward senses, the intuitive capacities of the human being uh, developed in this exponential way during the course of the last few million years biologically, but culturally it seems like, well, now that we've entered the information age, the rate at which our culture evolves has increased exponentially and continues to. And this isn't necessarily a good thing. Maybe it's not appropriate to say that our culture is evolving. Maybe we're devolving at the same time, offloading more and more of our innate biological capacities and externalizing them in these technologies, these machines, these material objects, artificial dissipative structures. In a crude way, they're alive, they're organisms, but they're parasitic in the sense that they require us to maintain them. They can't maintain themselves, whereas we maintain ourselves. Certainly, we maintain ourselves only because the sun is generous enough to gift us photons every day. So the Earth itself is, in that sense, it's an open system. It depends on energy from outside itself to be what it is. So we are just as much a creation of the sun as the machines that we build are a creation of ourselves, of man. But I think I should get to the specific points about consciousness that you were raising, the hard problem of consciousness, and you were recounting how Fred was complaining that it's a sort of inarticulable concept, consciousness. What are we to say about it? It seems to be counterintuitive, as you said, Jeff. And yet, Fred also said that there's a sort of quantum computing, sort of quantum computation going on in our nervous system, and that that's somehow responsible for consciousness. And Jeff, you don't think that we need any voodoo quantum phenomena to explain consciousness? You think we can rely upon the electromagnetic paradigm in science, this idea that really matter is energy, and energy is polarized, and it's not we speak of electrons, right? But electrons exist as waves of probability. They can be in an almost infinite number of places at any given time. And so they're just full of possibility. And it's not that they aren't actual, it's just that they're not fully determined. And neither is consciousness. I think that's significant. It does shift some of the materialistic assumptions we may hold, if those assumptions are that the universe is Newtonian, some sort of a clockwork machine, and that all of its future behavior can be predicted based on a full measurement of the present. And the assumption there is, of course, that we could actually ever measure the present. And I think with the laws of thermodynamics, we realize that to measure, we're already involving ourselves in the system, and that entropy will be produced, some effect on the whole, due to our act of measurement, will have taken place. And so the future could only ever be a statistical affair, and not only statistical, but relative to the accuracy of the measurement I want to try to achieve. Because the more accurate measurement I achieve, the more I'm going to have interfered with the system in order to get a full understanding of it. To touch it all over so that I can feel it in every place. And in doing so, I've changed it, right? So, the relationship between consciousness and the universe is then reciprocal. And, that's all I really want to invoke when I talk about the anthropic principle. We cannot know a universe other than the one which created us. So, what that means is that not that we are the pinnacle of creation, that we are created in the image and likeness of God, but nor does it mean that we're just a pure accident. It means we are one example of the universe becoming completely unique, uniquely aware of itself as a universe. So it's still one, still uni, and yet sees itself from an individual perspective. The universal becomes unique, particular, and I think this isn't a modern scientific discovery. That this is the basic structure of the universe. This is an ancient spiritual understanding. The Hermetic principle, as above, so below. The macrocosm and the microcosm are enfolded one within the other. Consciousness is not a peripheral appendage to the universe. It is the pearl in the universal oyster. Not just our consciousness, but the very many unique expressions of consciousness, which is just it's an abstract concept, right? It's the expression of that concept in many beautiful particular forms that I'm sure it exists elsewhere, beyond Earth, extraterrestrial. So it's not just we who are special, but our universe, which is becoming ever more special through us, and we are participating in that. And this participatory view, I think, instead of talking about qualia, I think it would lead us to talk more about intentionality. When you try to define consciousness as qualia, you end up defining it as merely that sensation of appearance, the raw feel of existence, and you leave out the fact that every feel is also a do, an act. That sensation is always already motoricity. We perceive by moving around in our environment. We aren't simply passively absorbing it, but actively enacting it.